See how obvious this is? The sky, the crisscrosses, the zigzags. You know how, like, you just know nobody's paying attention, and if they look up, they don't even do something. Well, as obvious as that is abnormal, right? Whatever you want to believe it is. You can believe it's real airplanes making real chemtrails. You can go as far as saying it's complete images, lasers, technology, putting images in the skies, or you can say they're drones. Like the one, like what I'm seeing is that one that's going up. You probably can't see it. It's different when you turn it to the left there, but it's shooting up like a rocket. And others are coming down as bombs. What I see is preparation. Sorry, I need to know one of these things. I see preparation for missiles being launched, fire, images coming from heaven. They just, right now it's just one color, so they're gonna add colors to it. But I'm just, you know, schizophrenic, frananatic, paranoia, whatever you want to call those people. But to me, gang stalking, right? That's as obvious as it is to my eyes and my understanding when I know that that's what's going on in the world. Now, for the most part, I don't pay much attention to them on the streets anymore. I just know that everybody is, whether you understand it or not, whether you believe it or not, you just are. You're being watched everywhere. Even if you don't even believe in gang stalking, you know, every single corner, everywhere possible, there's cameras there. And they're there to watch you. They're there to watch, you know, keep burglars out and whatnot, but when it comes to them burglarizing, well, they just, yeah, go ahead, you have a pass. You have a burglary pass. So let's start from the beginning. I realized mainly this year at the beginning what gang stalking is all about. And for people that stick up for gang stalking and say it doesn't exist, but yet you know everything about the government and how it works, well, you're lying. You know? You're lying about one or the other. Either you don't know everything about the government, how it works, or you do and you don't want to say a gang stalk is real because you're part of it. There's a few different reasons for this. So we'll go back to the beginning. What was the goal? What is the goal of gang stalking? Especially when you know that you're being surveilled. Well, number one, I'll just go with my own example for myself. Number one, I'm the one being stalked, but what you don't want to have happen. Is this a park here? I've never seen this thing. What you don't want to have happen, you know, the elite, the ones that are in charge of this, you don't want the wife, you don't want my wife to believe me, because look at anybody who's involved with this. If you have a wife or a husband and you are the one being targeted and they don't believe you, well, what does it do? It puts you against each other. It puts you both at odds. And then here comes the conflict. I'm just driving through a park I don't remember ever seeing before in my life in my neighborhood, but it's got a nice basketball court. So it puts you at odds, and that is the purpose, and it's in the Bible, in these last days, how basically family members will just turn against you. Husbands, wives, daughters, sons, fathers, sons, mother, daughter, just everybody and everything. And that's the reason why, because when one person is fully awake to it, and it's so obvious, it's common sense, it's like second nature, spotting it, seeing it, knowing it, feeling it, sensing it, moving on from it, ignoring it when you choose to, talk about it when you choose to. I don't dwell on it. There's times I don't even realize, I don't even care anymore. It's not even, I'm just going where I gotta go. And that's why they'll try even harder to get my attention, because they just know I don't give a shit anymore. But what I am doing is I'm addressing the goal behind, what is the goal of gang stalking. I'm sure a lot of people know, others don't. So when it comes to me personally, my life this year, you know, my wife has a keen sense also, like I do, when it comes to discerning the creepiness and things that are out of place, just things that are unordinary. So when I show her and I talk to her about things, well, I have a way of proving it. I also have a way of talking to people, so I don't force you to believe what I'm saying. I will present my evidence and show you. And then on top of that, the main thing with my wife was when she realized that Bowie's bed was moved a foot over to the right, that was a foot past the electric outlet that was normally right there on the right side of the outlet, but yet it was a foot over. And then I started to realize, after I changed the locks and my window was still open, after my wire was cut from my camera, it's just, and then not only that, when you still got people sticking up for gang stalkers and saying that they are the victims and I am the stalker, stalking innocent people, well, yeah, okay. Then I realize more, and then as time goes by, you know, basically they just put it in front of your face. You can just straight up Google gang stalking. It's there. It's real. It's in your face. It's purposely done that way. And I just show patterns, like the main pattern of just how they did the U-turns in front of me. I mean, nothing is more obvious than people doing U-turns in front of you. Within 4 minutes, 4 different cars, or 6 minutes. So I prove it. I prove that this is real, okay? And by doing that, okay, it's like, damn, I poked one hole in his pipe and he still got the apartment done. You see what I'm saying? You see the parallels here? For those that have heard the David and Goliath story that I went through with the guy poking holes in my pipes at work to try to sabotage my work for 1.5 years, and he just failed miserably every single time. Not one apartment didn't get done, and the person didn't move in when it was necessary. So here we are. Number one, people, if you're a target and you're married, okay, they are going to attack you, and then they are banking on your spouse or your significant other to turn against you because you sound like you are freaking paranoid. However, if you're both paranoid, you and your wife, or you and your husband, or you and your boyfriend, and you and your girlfriend, if you are both paranoid, well then, hey, they can't get you on that one, okay? All they can say is you're both paranoid. Now, so that goal is, okay, well, let's go to the cops and tell them. Okay. Go to the cops and tell them that your dog's bed was moved a foot to the right and that someone came in your house. First question is, well, is there forced entry? Well, no, officer, but don't you know that they hire locksmiths and they can get right to frickin' your house? Just like that. So you don't go to the police because there's nothing that they can do. All you can do is keep watch. But the best thing you can do is make sure you always have somebody at your house to make it as hard as possible for those little sneaky bastards to try to sneak into your house. That's it. Because when we were gone and they were getting to my house, you know, they were having a field day. And that's the most sickening part right there. That's why I simmered down when it comes to the gang stalking, because I've defeated them. I mean, I've defeated them. It could have went the exact opposite way. It could have went to where my wife did not see it. I seen it. I'm telling her this shit's happening. She's continuing to go to work without any acknowledgement of it, and I know that it's happening. It is a cancer. It will tear you apart. And that is the sick, demonic plan, whatever this organization is. The plan is, it's demonized. It just is. But at the same time, the people that are being targeted, well, obviously you're it comes down to I'm not going to say people are 144,000 are targeted. Well, some video said that. That's not the way it works. Everybody's targeted. Everybody in the world is targeted. Doesn't matter if you're evil, good, bad, whatever. The difference is the people that realize it and they can't handle it, well, they're weak. And then they turn from it and they say, well, if you can't beat them, you might as well join them. That's the worst thing you can do. That's another part of knowing the truth and turning from it. It'll be worse for you in the end also. Because you joined the organization. Because you know that they're watching you. So then your goal is to tell other people that maybe they're paranoid. Alright, so that didn't work. Next, let's work on the kid. Okay? Let's work on Robin's son. Let's try to get him against Robin. Well, the problem with that also is there was quite a few obvious as all hell reasons that the stalkers were there, and I made them show up because I said the one thing, why don't you show your face, you bunch of cowards? Just show your face. Come to my house. Show your face. What happened the next day? The appliance repair van was right out front as my brother was coming, driving, going to work with me, meet me at the house, and I'm taking my son to school. And he was late that day, and he just so happened to see it. And then my brother seen it. He's like, yeah, it's kind of... And then we turned around, and then they followed us onto the main street, 611, made a right behind us. And that's when I pulled over the side of him and asked him if it was worth his soul at the red light. Man, he did not like that one. So, on that singular day, whether my son believed it or not, or my brother believed it or not, they started to then. And then, just with the mail alone, the mail being sent to my house was purposed to harass me. But all it did was just prove what I was trying to tell people in the first place. This is an organization that is, they're out to harass me in any way, shape, or form possible. But I always turn it against them. I turn it against you guys, okay? You know, the one who's in charge. I turn it back against you, and I use it against you. So, that didn't work. You can't get my son against me. You can't get my wife against me. Alright, let's work on the other family members then. Let's try that. But here's what I'm very good at. proving ahead of time, preparing ahead of time, and planning ahead of time. And when I see something and I have a camera and I can record it and I can prove unusual behavior, it gets people to think, well, yeah, okay, I gotta admit, that was quite freaking unusual, okay? 4 U-turns in 4 or 5 minutes? Yeah, perfectly normal. Especially when you're calling it beforehand. So what happened with that leader, huh? What happened with that? With the gang stalking leader? It still didn't work. The goal is to get you to be isolated from your family. The goal is to get you fired from your job. Well, that didn't work for that entire year and a half. It's the same thing now. Any boss I have, any guy that I know, any builder, any contractor, I mean, good luck. Good luck telling them anything, because they know my entire history. Especially the man that owns half of Philadelphia right now, where and I stole from him when I was a thief back in 2004, and he forgave me for it because I wrote him a letter in jail saying exactly what I did. And he was hoping it wasn't me, but he kind of knew it was. But he was so grateful and thankful to hear me pour out my guts, my heart, and tell him how much I'm a piece of shit and I feel horrible for it, and I will repay you when I get out. And that's exactly what I did. I repaid him when I got out, and then he offered me a job. That's forgiveness, okay? And I used to think before, like, man, this guy's so rich, there's no way he's going to heaven. It's easier for a freaking a needle to go through the eye of a camel or something, however that saying is. It's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to go to heaven. No. This man has forgiveness in his heart, and it comes from God. And that's all that matters. And I've learned more and more that, you know, this religion has been used against everybody to divide you, to tell you you have to believe this way or else. I'm telling you. So as we get to this end game here, the goal, okay, the goal was to get everybody and anybody against me, to ruin my life, ruin my family's life, have people not want to talk to me. Yeah, does everybody in my family believe me? No, but they know that by my life and how I conduct myself, I'm no fool. I'm not somebody that's just going to make up these accusations and not have any type of backing or evidence of it whatsoever. So now, let's say it went the other way around. Let's just say my work did get sabotaged. Let's just say I did lose my job. I did lose, and I failed everybody that I told to come and quit your job and work with me because you got years of work here. And let's just say that you did succeed and you got me against my wife. And Peter, Pumpkin Eater, he had a wife and he couldn't keep her. The second Peter knows better. The second Peter has information that in the Bible, 2 Peter, that spirit of 2 Peter is keeping people in remembrance of something. Because there was a promise that we were promised that Christ was returning, that a rapture would happen of the spirits. So, the people that are 7 years behind, it's usually the ones that are still stuck in the church doctrine. Nothing new, no new information. You're looking at it like, okay, well, only a small remnant's going to be saved, and everybody else is going to die. And you're telling people, you know, that we're all going to be saved, and it's a lie. Okay, it's false doctrine. Now, my knowledge increased, and I realized that small remnant already was saved. That small remnant is here right now, to let people know what's getting ready to take place for real. But I don't know how much of that small remnant is telling people that, well, we're all eternal beings and we're all going to continue to live on. It's just, how are you going to get there? The elite are going to get there last, the very last, hopefully, because of the major deception that Satan has put upon their heads. The 7 billion innocent people of the world that aren't, it's like, you know, when I had my family over yesterday, you know, a lot of us are, whatever, life just happens to us. But every single one of us, I don't see us taking a knife, you know, and stabbing people in the back. We're not evil-hearted people. My family's not someone that goes out of the way to cause problems with others. My family is the other part that God's talked to, the church, the body of Christ, the ones that don't have this doctrine and don't know the depths of Satan. I have no other burden put upon you. They might not all believe at all, you know, what I'm telling them is getting ready to happen, but they will when it happens, and that's all that matters. So, when I make the video yesterday addressing to Mr. Stalker himself, you failed again. You're going to continue to fail when you come against me. It's just the way it is, because I'm aware of it. And I'm not better than one other person in this world. However, being aware of the truth is what I'm thankful for. Just being aware of it, knowing it. Knowing how people work. And that I made sure, because in the past years, Thanksgivings, Christmases, you know, it's always been a hassle. There's always somebody fighting. There's always somebody against somebody. It's always just all the time. Every single one that I can remember my entire life has always been some type of freaking hassle or problem or another. Yesterday went about as perfect as it possibly could have went. As perfect as possible. Because you know how, you know, I got a mom, I got a stepmom. My dad died a while back, but my stepmom has been with my dad since I was like 5 years old. And my family was just, it's a broken home. 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters and myself. And a father who's with the stepmom in his life, and my mom with my stepdad, and then sometimes without, and then, you know, shit happens in life, and you just grow up. A lot of people grow up on their own. I learned how to grow up on my own. I just listened to the still voice in my head, you know, as a child, because I wasn't concerned about brushing my teeth, and not knowing at the time that decalcifying my pineal gland, I didn't understand it at all, nothing about it till this year, but I'm understanding why now. For the first 13 years, that's why I had bad teeth. Because it just goes, this guy was already over at the Wawa getting gas, so now he's going to come here. Remember how far I drove? Maybe he just likes, he's probably just going to the same place, I'm sure. But, you know, unusual behavior, anything that's, you remember, it's like, hey, what's up, how's it going? But to me, to those guys that are out there, it's just like, they're just saying hi to me. And I'm just saying hi to them. There's no animosity, there's no disgust anymore. I don't care. But when it comes to trying to separate you and isolate you and get you to be homeless and to have nobody around. Sorry, Mr. Leader. I'm not going to say you picked the wrong person to gang stalk. I'm going to say you picked the absolute perfect person to gang stalk, because I'm going to show you how with all the surveillance that you have, all the technology, all the knowledge of everybody and how this whole thing works, and you're coming against one person that claims to have the backing of God with him. You know me, I have the backing of my Creator with me at all times. I've been through this plenty of times, man. And I'm sure I've been through the same thing in previous lives also. And it's no different. I'm always prepared and ready ahead of time for everything and anything. Years in advance. In this case, with YouTube shutting down, 1 year. 1 full year. A full 365 days. I've been prepared to be shut down. So when it shuts down, I am not surprised. I'm only going to be thrilled to life. I'm going to be super thrilled to life because of it when it happens. So no. Nope. You failed. You failed with everything. Because there's not one family member who has turned against me this entire time. Even though I've brought up gang stalking, even though I've brought up Harold camping, I've brought up time frames, dates, scenarios. My family, they know what happened on April 7th. They understand that. They know it's the beginning. They don't truly watch the news, but they understand that that was a prediction that was said ahead of time that actually happened. And the elite knows it too. And that's why they hire the people to make it, you know, Robin. Yeah. I feel sorry for you too, man. Anybody who thinks, okay, you know, again, this code talk, you know, 5 kings have fallen, 1 is yet to come, 1 is and is not, and whatever, and so on and so forth, and is of the 7th, and even is of the 7th year, going into the 8th year. I'm sick of the code talk. It's, you know, because it's so obvious to me what you guys are doing that it's like, okay, right. Yeah, I'm fooled on that one too. The leader that was promised to rule isn't gonna rule. Okay? Gonna stand up, and after a few days, you're not gonna be found. Just saying. And I was talking to Justin last night on the phone, and he had a very good Thanksgiving too. All positive energy. And I prepared for this. I made sure that nobody was going to have a problem with anybody, because I created the scenario yesterday and made sure that I worked it through with my thoughts in my head first. That way the result was exactly what happened. So it's just a preparation of being around your army when it comes time for them to cut the lights. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Okay? You got nowhere to run. You got nowhere to hide. Neither do the elite. They think they do, but man, you guys got it. You guys got it 10 times worse than we do. So I'm just getting prepared to manage and organize people's fears and doubts and worries when the time comes. And all ears are going to be open. So after all this time of being a young kid, social anxiety, not wanting to say a word about the Bible out loud to anybody, still, you know, even after turning to God, it's like reading it. The one guy's like, "You ready to start preaching?" I'm like, "What? Preaching? I just read. I don't even know what I'm reading." Now I have a better understanding of what I'm reading, but again, I will tell you I haven't read or understood 90% of the Bible. I just haven't. But anything that I read now has a clear understanding. And I feel like the 90% that I didn't read, well, I had a very good teacher who was very consistent every single day, day in and day out. He didn't claim to be Jesus, okay, but he sure did handle people like Jesus did. And Harold Camping has the kindest eyes, the kindest heart, consistently. And as always said, don't believe me, believe the Bible. Go to the Bible. He's just a teacher trying to guide you in a certain direction. As I understood, his spiritual understanding was ahead of his time, like he's supposed to be. And he's supposed to be called a false prophet. And, but when I was talking to Justin, he's like, you know, after you being rebuked last night, I'm like, huh? You don't, what do you mean? I'm like, anyway, and then you know, SJD rebuking me. It's like, huh? If really? As I'm talking, I'm like, you know what? This video, I gotta see, but I'm sure that as soon as I get off the phone, it won't be there. What kind of coward deletes their videos immediately? What's that all about? It's shady as all hell. When people make videos and they delete them right away, what is the purpose? Because I unsubbed to Steve, the character, and because it's like I don't care what he says anymore. But this one, I mean, I wanted to see it. Unfortunately, he deleted it. So, it is what it is. But being rebuked by Jesus Christ himself, huh? You know, let me just remind you, Steve. My entire life, I've prayed to God through Jesus Christ. Not you, okay? And he's answered. He's coming through all the time. And he's going to come through again in the end. And, yeah, I've been prepared for this battle big time. It's actually not even it's like I don't even have to practice anymore because I've already been through it. I don't have to worry about what to say when it's time to say it. The Holy Spirit will just flow through me and give me the words that I need to speak when I need to speak them. So to be rebuked by the Lord Jesus Christ himself and to be called a CIA agent at the same time, man, what's going on, man? Am I getting under your skin?